All right. How I got my hair to stop falling out. And even better, I actually regrew some. Not too bad, right? It used to be way worse, trust me. See if I can find a photograph to put up so you guys can see. But I want to speak to this theme on a few levels because there are practicalities that I feel like people don't know about. Guys, in particular, were the ones that, I guess that I just hear this conversation the most about hair loss. Although, I'm sure it affects women as well. Androgenic alopecia is more specifically what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's just like a lot of people take it as a given. Oh, my hair is falling out. I guess that's it. It's just a matter of time before I got to bick it. And I believe that. I believe that for a long time. I grew up with the idea, with the pervasive and pernicious idea that it is what it is. You play the hand, the cards that you've been dealt, and you deal with it. And if you got the gene that says that your hair is going to fall out when you're 30, then that's just how it is. There's nothing you can do. If you got the big bone gene, then that's just how it is. You're just going to be overweight. You're going to be fat. Learn to deal with it. Depressing reality to live in. And I don't know if any of you guys are there. I lived in that for a long time. I didn't like it. Part of me wanted to just lash out and rebel against the system. A part of me just didn't even know where to start. A part of me was too afraid to do that, too afraid to buck the trend and believe that it could be any different. And over time, I've tested the waters here. I've stuck my foot out there and come to find out that life is what you make it and everyone can make progress. It doesn't matter what it is. And I firmly believe that. Everyone, you, my friend, you can make progress. You just need to do the smart work and you need to believe that it's possible. So, the hair thing I think is just a great microcosm or metaphor for this whole idea because it seems so cut and dry. It seems so ineffable. My hair is falling out. That's it. But the truth is that there's actually a lot that can be done about it. And once you understand the mechanics of what's actually going on, why is my hair falling out, then the path becomes much more clear. And I have to give outrageous amounts of credit to Derek, More Plates, More Dates, because he's the resource that I got most of what I'm about to share with you from. So if you want to get it straight from the horse's mouth, by all means, go do that. And if not, I'm going to try and summarize everything that I found through him and from other people here in the next 5 to 10 minutes because he's got scores of videos and I watched every single one and on the topic, and so I'd like to save you guys potentially some time and effort and just summarize it here for you. But yeah, there's obviously more details and he goes more in depth and he is more comprehensive. I'm just going to talk about like the top 4 things that I ended up trying that actually moved the needle for me. So let's talk about what exactly is happening. Why is my hair falling out in the first place? So it actually has to do with testosterone. So testosterone gets turned into something called dihydrotestosterone inside your body. And dihydrotestosterone is another androgenic hormone. However, and it's responsible for viralization, masculinization, developing masculine characteristics, deep voice, body hair. It's what makes your balls drop. When you're a teenager, there's an increase in testosterone, which leads to an increase in dihydrotestosterone. And dihydrotestosterone is the far more androgenic was the word, right? Having to do with like male characteristics. Androgenic hormone. It spurs all those it's kind of like what makes you anatomically a man. And so the problem is that it has all these wonderful characteristics psychologically, physically, but it also, and while it can while it makes your hair grow elsewhere on your body, on your scalp, it makes your hair fall out. Go figure. So that's why you hear, men complain like as they age, their hair, they get more hair on their back and less hair on their head. What's the deal with that? It's dihydrotestosterone. And so if we want to prevent hair loss, first of all, and then potentially also regrow some hair, then we have to affect this hormone level or expression inside the body, particularly in the scalp, because that's the hair that we're talking about. So now let's break it down into like what I just said, stopping your hair from falling out and stimulating your hair to grow more. Because these are two different things. And I highly suggest, and Derek suggests this as well, that you stop your hair from falling out first. Just worry about that before you try and get your hair to grow back thicker and fuller. Because if all you do is this, and you never do this, you don't actually, first of all, know if you have got your hair to stop falling out in the first place. And you're just like you're trying to swim upstream. So rather than fight against the current the whole time and spend all this energy trying to swim upstream, the current's flowing this way, just stop the current first, stop your hair from falling out first, and then you can easily swim up, and it's not even upstream anymore. You're just swimming on a long pool, right? Much easier. So get your hair to stop falling out first, which means stopping dihydrotestosterone expression in your scalp. And so the and my suggestion is to start with as minimal of an intervention as possible, natural intervention as possible, because of all of the things I just mentioned. Dihydrotestosterone is a crucial hormone in your body. And while there are lots of people who have reduced systemic dihydrotestosterone without side effects, me being one of them, there are also enough people who have suffered atrocious side effects from doing this. And so if you can avoid it, then I suggest you try first. So before you wipe out systemic DHT, first see if there's something that's a little bit more gentle that you can do that's going to get you this result. And so herbs come to mind. Rosemary, what's the big one? Saw palmetto. Saw palmetto is just a gentle but proven effective DHT inhibitor. And there's a couple others, but I think those are the main two, the rosemary and the saw palmetto, that you can apply topically, aka to your scalp, and will have somewhat of a DHT inhibitory effect. And that may be all you need, especially if you're just starting off in this process. I meant to say this earlier, because I was stuck in the belief of this is how it is what it is. I noticed my hair falling out and I didn't do shit about it for years. And then I come to find out that it's actually way, way easier to stop your hair from falling out than it is to your hair to grow more. I was like, fuck, I wish somebody had told me this 7 years ago when I first noticed that my hair was falling out, because I wouldn't have had to make up all this lost ground. And that's literally what it is. So if you notice that this is happening, if you're like rinsing your head and there's all this hair, these hairs in your hands, if that keeps happening, do something about it. Start taking action right away. Because like I said, it's way easier to get your hair to stop falling out than it's to grow more hair, just because of physiologically what needs to happen. Inhibit DHT, pretty straightforward. It's very easy to do. There's some side effects that you want to, with certain interventions that you want to be aware of before you get into it. By and large, way easier, way more dependable, predictable, guaranteed that you can do this compared to actually getting your follicles to wake back up, the stem cell niche to wake back up after it's been miniaturized and all of a sudden start sprouting hair again. Way harder. So do this first. Do this early and start with the most gentle approach first. So we got the herbs. Next on the list, it's for graduating from most gentle to a little bit more aggressive, would be a ketoconazole shampoo. You can buy a 1% ketoconazole shampoo over the counter. And a lot of times it'll be mixed with some of these other herbs that I just mentioned, which is great. Intelligent Shop, which is one of Derek's companies, I use their ketoconazole shampoo and conditioner combo, and it is great. It's mostly, natural ingredients. It's got some stuff in there that, I would prefer not have, but overall the effect is great. It's a broad spectrum, it's got attacks from multiple angles, and it may be all you need between the shampoo and the conditioner. The conditioner's got some other stuff in it that's I think it's got some topical caffeine in there, which is another good DHT inhibitor. So that would probably be, the caffeine would be kind of in between the herbs and the ketoconazole. Ketoconazole is an antifungal technically, but it turns out that it actually does help inhibit DHT locally and stimulate fuller, thicker hair growth. So it gets used for hair loss products a ton. Graduating again, beyond ketoconazole, it's all right, now we have to start talking about pharmaceutical grade DHT inhibitors, and the benchmark in that category is finasteride, and then the kind of the heavy hitter is dutasteride. Now these things are going to inhibit DHT systemically, no matter if you take them, if you ingest it or you take it topically. And so it doesn't really matter if you do oral versus a like a topical, like I said. So just be aware of that. Like it's like once you get into this realm, it's not like you can avoid side effects of systematic DHT inhibition just by doing a topical. It's going to get into your body. It's going to get into your bloodstream. It's because it's just small enough. It passes through the molecules. So, but it is effective. And if assuming, it's largely well tolerated, so it's definitely worth looking into. Talk with your doctor. You're going to need a prescription for these. Talk with your doctor about it. It's always good. Once you start messing with hormones, it's always good to do regular blood work. I mean, it's good to do regular blood work anyways, but especially when you start messing with your hormones. So do a test, free in total, do a DHT, and just kind of see where you're at. And then once you start manipulating those numbers with some pharmaceuticals, to keep checking in to see, what effects they're having. And you can also map any symptoms to that data. Now, the finasteride is what did it for me, at least for now. I may end up upgrading to dutasteride at some point. I'm not sure about that yet. But finasteride is going to inhibit DHT to a lesser degree, about 70% DHT reduction systemically versus dutasteride, which is about 90%. So keep that in mind. Again, go with like the minimal effective dose on all these things and, see what happens. I'm definitely not making any recommendation here. I'm just trying to give you information and tell you what worked for me. You may not even care about losing your hair. I definitely do. I love my hair. I want to keep as much of it as I can. So it's worth it for me to go down this road and potentially, risk some side effects. So that's from, least invasive to most invasive DHT inhibition, stop your hair from falling out. Now we have get your hair to grow back better, bigger, faster, stronger. And the least invasive, there's a bunch of different things. But again, I'll just tell you what worked for me, what is working for me. And that's a two-pronged attack. So I'm actually doing 4 things total. I got the ketoconazole shampoo. I got the finasteride prescription for the halting hair loss. And then on the hair regrowth side, I've got microneedling and I've got minoxidil. So microneedling is a device. It literally jabs you with a little micro needles, 1,000, whatever RPMs. Feels like you're giving yourself a head tattoo. It doesn't feel great, but it is effective at increasing circulation and blood flow to that area. It's also good for wound healing. And if you have deep scarring, if you have acne scars, if you have any sort of, like skin condition that, you want to bring more circulation to, microneedling will help. In the same vein, it'll help with increasing circulation to the scalp, and that circulation will likely lead to an increase in hair growth, especially when you use it synergistically with minoxidil. So they've done studies that show that minoxidil by itself, microneedling by itself, some effect, minoxidil better than microneedling in isolation. But when you put them together, it's like a 1 + 1 = 4 effect. Like the amount of hair regrowth that they saw in these studies was way, way, way better than either one of them by itself. And so again, minoxidil has some side effects. You can't actually buy this one over the counter. A 5% topical solution. If you want to take it orally, I'm guessing that you would have to get a prescription for that. The topical works fine for me. It's easy to apply. I mixed up with some beeswax and some, there's like a natural sort of like a hair pomade, like beeswax and rosemary sort of thing a product that I use, which I can put a link to. And I just minoxidil spray, beeswax, so I can shape my hair and it'll have the kind of like the hold and the texture that I want. And that's it. So between those 4 things, I've managed to actually stop my hair from falling out and regrow it to a significant degree. Like you could tell, I got some widow's peak going on here, but it used to be bad. And it used to almost like kind of like create an island of hair right here because the widow's peaks were like coming together and they were like stopping being widows and like starting being like a gay couple, I guess. and then had the yarmulke situation, the skin yarmulke top, and a lot of that. I mean, it's thinner on the top than on the sides still, but at least it's all there. At least there's hair everywhere. So huge win. Check out those tactics that I mentioned. Check out Derek, More Plates, More Dates on YouTube. Check out Intelligent Shop. That's where I got the micro needling tool and the minoxidil and the ketoconazole shampoo, all from Intelligent. I'll throw a link up for that. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and send to anyone who you think would call them out for having a skin yarmulke on their head. Or don't. Just kind of send it to them and say, I know your hair's not falling out, but in case it ever does, I want you to be prepared. Seriously. I think that if we all talked about our issues, we wouldn't have nearly as many. No one was really talking about this with me. And I just had to, I don't even know how I ended up going down the rabbit hole and like figuring out that there's stuff that you can actually do about hair loss. But yeah, let's talk about it. Talk about whatever else is going on. I assure you, every problem has a solution. Every problem has a solution. And I'll leave you with that. Have an awesome day. And I'll talk to you soon.